going on, Warriors? Your boy Shinryu back in with another video, and today we're going to be discussing something that I've sort of like had at the thought of the back of my mind for a long time. Okay, so it's a bit of a conflict that I sort of like had for quite a while, and that's because as you guys know, the characters I've sort of like been aiming for as a free-to-play character. Are characters that are sort of like in the special summon tickets for the most part, okay? But here's the important thing that you guys have to understand right now. It is time to actually assign or to prioritize your first four. Okay, when I mean prioritizing your first four, it means your four characters that you want to start, make sure that they have not just all the cards but all the FSs and all the you know um boosts that you can pretty much get to at least the point where they want to pretty much be effective, because it is time to ensure that at least we are competing at a good degree when it comes to the rankings. Okay, and the way you can do that, when you look at everyone, let's look at just typical rankings. For example, like let's look at the event you just passed right now. I don't know if they might still at all see it, because as you know, I think we're now on to the next boss. This is the first time running this game today, yeah. And as you guys already know as well, typically um you have a few days to run this stuff, and then after that it's pretty much over. But you want to make sure that at least you're sort of like a bit competitive, or to get a good amount of these rewards. Okay, because for me, when it came to the Summer Yang rewards, you can see here I barely missed out on this one, and I could sort of like easily have attained it. But I won't lie to you, this type of like event, when it comes to you know um the special events, are not typically my best, and it's not because it's not interesting, but I'm not really a big fan of setting up three teams. Okay, setting up three teams as free to play is typically definitely difficult, because you either find yourself focusing on a certain sort of characters, making the rest a bit stale, or you're sort of like spreading your seeds all around and not having a particularly strong character like myself. Okay, so but what you want to do right now is as much as you want to have that potential team that I always talk about, you also want to make sure that your current team isn't slept on as well. So you have to at least prioritize certain characters that you already have, to give them that sort of advantage. And that has actually come to my guiding principle towards. Let's just go ahead and see if I can actually pick this up. Okay, we got one of this. Usually when I have one of these important stuff, that I can go ahead and select it. All right, so I'm going to claim that. But that would actually take you towards at least getting a start. And one of the places that I always talk about here is going to be in the garage. Okay, when you go to promote and go to garage here, right, your vehicle warehouse. Okay, no, not the warehouse, I mean the workshop. All right, you want to make sure that the characters that you already have on your triple S are at least there. That should either make up your, that should at least be part of your bottom four, if you don't already have them on top. Okay, and then the characters you consider as your potential team lineup will be at the top. Okay, all right. So now if you look at this right now, my Bison pretty much is on SS plus, but the moment I get into triple S, because I already have let's go to the warehouse, the some vehicles available to him. Look at this one right now. This is one, this is two, this is three. All right, we already have three. At least we're going to be having half of the vehicle perks that you're going to get from it, right, which is 1 star, right. The same thing also applies to Akuma. If I'm able to push Akuma, you can see I have one for Akuma, I have a second one for Akuma here, and I have a third one for Akuma. Same for Rose, and all that. Jen should be amongst them before, but Jen has sort of fallen because more important characters have come in, but he's still definitely important for my actual potential lineup, unless a different character sort of comes in and kind of makes him a bit obsolete. But I kind of like his mechanic as a support, where you have that extra character to actually help you with the support there. So that's pretty much it. But going back to what I was trying to say is, you want to make sure that you have those guys already set up. Okay, because if you're just either going for whatever comes first, you're going to find yourself in that portion where you're just distributing all around the board. And if you're going for specific characters, you're going to find your other teams being sort of still, because you're not building the potential as well, and you might also end up playing catch up if, for example, those potential characters become essential. For example, a lot of people slept on Bizagi for the longest time, and then they had to start playing catch up with building the character up and that sort of thing, right. So In my own situation right now, obviously Ivory is one of them. He's also on triple S already, but I already got all the 6 cards. All right, so I'm going to put that. I'm going to put him. Him. I pulled him out already, and there's obviously the anticipation of Goken. If I get his six, if I get like his 6 cards, for example, then at least I can take him out, and not worry about something I haven't attained yet. The same for Akuma, but we're close, and same for Bison, and of course for Rose as well. But with these characters here, as you can see here, I'm gonna put her back. I don't know why I keep on clicking on that. I'm just gonna click on this. Okay, you can't even click there as well. You can see the characters at the bottom. As important as they are, they don't have the card yet. Okay, but you have to understand that first of all, you want to prioritize damage dealers when it comes to the stars, the garage, and you also want to make sure that whatever perks that they're getting, you're at least okay with it, right? Like my blank already has it finally, so that was because I actually prioritized him as well. And Blanca is someone who's pretty much good at bosses. So one of the guys that want to prioritize in cards, also guys who are like good in bosses, because boss fights are going to be part of the thing, as well as when you want to have, like I said, your damage dealers as well. But if you look at mine right now, if I go over here, I put strictly the damage dealers, and the good thing is that most of the damage dealers are pretty much already here, right? Now if I go to in the characters individually, let's start with Sea Viper right now. I don't think she has any vehicle at all, right? And you can see she doesn't have any vehicle right now. But here's the other thing, right? Once I've already prioritized, Ivory, and I've gotten the 6 cards, now I have a free vehicle kit to apply. Okay, all right. So I'm debating a bit on who to give it to. All right. But before we continue on that, what one does want to look at the other fighters are the damage dealers that I have there. There are 4 of them. Remember, there was Chun Li as well. So you look at Chun Li, look at her right now with regards to the garage. She doesn't have any vehicle as well, so I can't even give her that because I want to make sure that I get the vehicle part out of the way as quickly as possible and then replace to the next upcoming character that is important. The third person is Thousand, and I think it's one that seems to have the most amount of vehicles. He has 2 so far. I can easily give him that other vehicle kit right now, and then it becomes 3. Okay, but I want to go ahead pull for the workshop first to actually decide if that's the angle that I want to take. Okay, and I believe the last person, who was the last one? Let's go to the workshop again. Our last person was a bit of a dispute for me. I wasn't sure. I first put Abel, then I put Gal, and then I think I just kind of like was all over the place with the last person, so that's why I don't even have it off my head. So it's Gal that is currently the last person right now, because his car actually makes him better, and like I said, you want to make sure that when you're spreading your team across, you actually have those damage dealers, on there, right? Okay, so and Avery is also on a percentage. The only 2 guys I already have the 2 stars on, and of course Avery, or rather Madry, and then Avery. Okay, and then last person like Gal. If we look at Gal right now, I think he has 1 vehicle. I'm not sure. All right, go over him. Yeah, he got 1 vehicle, right? So now we're gonna go to the workshop. We're just gonna try and see if we can do Trippy R again for the workshop. Like I said, with the Trippy R, once again, I'm gonna initiate that. It is one of it, after the typical standard draw. This is typically the best section to pull again. Like I said, with the Trippy R over here, the reason why I do that often is because if it doesn't pull in this 3 round, then it typically pulls in the next 3 rounds. But I never had like 3 rounds when it never just pulls at all. And I never had to do that. You don't have to do too much pull. I just do 3 and I just kind of stop there and I wait to have another 3. I don't know if I think I got 1 last time around, even in I think it was in the first pull. So we're gonna try again. Like I said, we might not get it, but if you don't get it now, then typically in the next pull you will. So I'm gonna go around and we're gonna make the first pull. Hopefully we're lucky here. And if we're not, it's fine. Like I said, but obviously you want to make sure that we're clearing the vehicle part as quickly as possible. So we have, nothing here right now, which is cool. We're gonna go for the second round as well. All right, and typically when you're lucky, it comes up, on the first, second, but of course can come on the third as well. And this time around, we're not lucky here. It's fine. Like I said before, if it doesn't work in this first 3, then I'm a little bit more optimistic in the next 3, and I'll try and do a recording of the next 3 so that way you can see that at least I did follow there. As you can see right now, I see how I don't have enough to do another pull, but it's still fine. I never do individual pulls in this section here though. That's just me and that's my own take. Okay, so bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that it's time to build your first team lineup, because if you go over here right now, let's make an attempt to play on a challenge. And I want to just sort of preset my first 3 teams in most cases. Most of the time, whenever you want to do 3 team, whatever. You also want to look at the caliber of the opponents that you're facing, to beat them up. But at least you want to have a standard three, right? So this is my original three right now that I actually hope to get. But of course, Goken is not exactly in any competitive state right now. All right, so we're not going to be, dependent on that on him. I still sort of swap in maybe Fashion Black, for example. But then this is the second three right now. And if you go further down, as you can see, but what you notice that my damage dealers don't have stars, okay? And if your damage dealers don't have the stars from the cards, then they pretty much would struggle. So what I'm trying to say is this, okay? Even if you're not going to prioritize, even if you're trying to focus on certain characters, you can boost them as quickly as possible. You want to at least make sure that your damage dealers, you have at least one or two damage dealers per team. Typically, one is fine per team, right? Because you want to have like a support as well. Having damage dealer and support is pretty much great. And depending on how strong or weak the team is or the caliber of the opponents, sometimes you want to have a tank there to protect them or not. But have at least three of the damage dealers that are pretty much starred up. Okay. Right now, the only damage dealer I only have two, and honestly, as you guys know, when it comes to pairing up, team lineups, I typically try with my Mad Ryu as well. But because he doesn't have like most of these elements or whatever stuff, his synergy with most other characters is only based on his survival. Right? Unless you put him in the assist slot or whatever. But yeah, that's what I wanted to actually just mention here. Prioritize, three damage dealers right now. Okay, I don't usually pick from here. That was actually pretty weird. I think this is my own garage. Just gonna go over. I think this one higher than Leonhardt right now. We have a new, yeah, Nanas is higher than Leonhardt because he recently joined us, and then I guess Leonhardt just be the second person. All right. Okay, decent. And yeah, otherwise that's been what you hear. I have a lot of red dots I need to clear soon enough, and then because it's gonna be a long day for me today because a lot of event there's an event coming up, and I have to take my family there. So I just want to make sure I actually at least release a few stuff for you guys. I believe I still have one more stuff that I wanted to actually discuss as well. Pretty much with regards to how you're doing so far with the vital supplies. I think I touched briefly on it, but I want to go in depth on it in the next video. Otherwise, it's been your boy, Shin Ryu. Once again, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends and all that stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.